Hello, welcome to Inner Growth. This is Wendy Rodriguez, and welcome to my healing journey. I am super excited to get started and to speak on a numerous amount of hard topics and share my self-reflection throughout all the adversity I've faced. My intention is to create a community of like-minded people that empower one another to know their greatness and to discover their true strength and identity in this world. I am so grateful to have all of you watching and hungry for change. Thank you for your time. And remember, being free is exactly who you are meant to be. Many blessings. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Inner Growth. Healing is a journey. I'm Wendy Rodriguez. This is Addictions, Part 3. Welcome back. Woo. I want to talk about another example is if you've ever met or known of someone who constantly does so much for others, like over and over again. They are the most heartless, hardworking, just inspirational people in the entire world. But they yet have a tendency to really either throw in someone's face what they do for them, or complain about how ungrateful everybody else is, and just continue to have that same, like, they continue to be selfless yet complain about people being selfish, and so they continue to do that over and over again, and it becomes kind of an addiction in the sense of you at this point are doing it to yourself. If you don't value yourself and you don't build boundaries with others and take responsibility for your part put in everything, you of course will be like, they are doing this to me, it's their fault, I'm being super nice, I'm being the best, I'm selfless, I'm this and that. Like, okay, that's fine, but what are you addicted to? And I think in that scenario, the addiction would be significance, feeling significant, and that's where you draw your selflessness from, in my opinion. Again, I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just speaking what I think it could be, wanting to feel significant. And so if more and more people need you and more people confide in you and trust in you and this and that, then you feel that void of feeling more and more significant. So it's that addiction of high. But then you turn around and have another addiction of saying to the people that don't thank you all the time, or you don't feel grateful for, is just like, well, see, that's why, like, you are this, you are that, you are this. But at the end of the day, you have to think, well, if they continue to be that way, why do you continue to be the way that you are? Like, it makes no sense. There's I listened to this podcast once that was talking about anger. And if you're addicted to anger, so let's say you get a divorce and you're super addicted to the anger that you had to your partner. You're angry at them. They did everything to you. They are the worst person ever, everything like that. So day in and day out, you talk about this person and you're just like, they are the most toxic people ever, and you just don't let go of that anger, right? You keep it 30, 40, 50 years. And so 50 years goes by and that partner passes. That partner is no longer alive. They are no longer in your life. They are no longer nothing. So are you going to continue to be addicted to that anger towards them, even though they physically aren't here? They aren't physically doing anything to you, but you're choosing to have that same anger within yourself and not letting it go? Would you question yourself to think, are you now addicted to that feeling of anger towards them? Like, why would you continue to be in anger? Like, I get that, like, they did something to you or this and this and this, but if you were in the creator orientation, wouldn't you view it as they challenged you in a certain way? Or wouldn't you want to take responsibility for the actions that you might have done in the relationship that may have caused an imbalance within you guys? Or wouldn't you have in a creative orientation, the compassion to realize that both of you are great human beings, and free yourself from that anger and free yourself from that addiction, rather than continually to keep that addiction towards someone that's not even around anymore? Or maybe you'd use that same addiction of anger and put it towards someone else, the new person, family, friends, because you still have to keep that anger within yourself, because then you just don't feel whole without it. Like, you feel like, why would I forgive someone, like blah blah, like it just goes to show that, like, asking questions, asking why to yourself about things that you say, about things that you do, about feelings that you have. The feelings or experiences that you've had in the past that continue to happen in today's day, because experiences and feelings and emotions, elevated emotions, make lasting changes in your life, until you have a bigger emotion to counteract the other emotion that you once had. For me personally, was the trigger with my diagnosis, with my health. That was a super impactful thing. It impacted my life for the last 4 years, and I needed something bigger, a higher elevation of emotion in order for me to change that trauma to something positive, and now being able to stand before you guys and be able to tell my story, And it took, honestly, I think what it was for me personally, it took me wanting to be alive and not be in victim mode any longer, to realize that I had addictions and toxic addictions that weren't serving me anymore. And that's where I was able to change them step by step, one by one. And so I'm here to tell you that it's possible 100%. It doesn't matter how long you've had the thought, maybe 50, 60 years. Obviously, it makes it a little bit of a harder to unstick. But if anybody is willing and ready, they will do the changes necessary to really truly make an impact in their own lives. One little quote that I like to say, that I heard from Dr. Joe Dispenza, was, the hardest part about change is not making the same choices you made the day before. So that is pretty simple and pretty self-explanatory, but that's really what it is at the core of anything. That is the hardest thing about change, is not making the same mistake, not making the same choices over and over again. So I'm going to leave you with that. And if you would like to reflect a little bit on that, I invite you to write down ways in your own life that you have become addicted to an emotion or thought, and ask yourself, has it served me, and is it currently serving me? I shared with you a couple of my addictions, my addiction to fear, my addiction to attention, my addiction to anger. And so I will continue to kind of incorporate this whole addiction on your thoughts idea throughout the rest of the videos, because I know that I have, healing is a journey. And so I still have all of my life to continue to learn and grow from these experiences. And honestly, one of the realest steps that you can take is taking responsibility for what addictions you have. No one's perfect. And like I said in the beginning of the first video, was, in general, I can generalize and say everybody in this world has one addiction, whether it be emotional or through thought or through physical or chemical or whatever it may be. We all have addictions, and we all have the power to change into better versions of ourselves if we choose. And I believe that if you change the addiction of thoughts and emotions, you're then able to have more control over the addictions in the outside world that you may feel out of control about. So I'd like to leave that with you, and I want to feel that you feel empowered. And so please, please, please share with me anything that you felt like you got from this, if you felt positive about it, and if it gave you some type of hope or just an idea that was planted in your head that you have never thought of before. I love you all so much. Remember that you are unconditionally loved, unconditionally enough, and unconditionally valued by just being you. And so it is.